Hello everyone, this is William Tapscott. I'm with the Taylorsville Crime Watch, and today I'm here with Todd Noblitt, the Director of 911 Services. Todd, what does it mean to you personally to be the Director of 911 Services?
Oh, it's just a huge, thrill for me. I've been very fortunate. I spent 28 years at the Bartholomew County Sheriff's Office before I retired, and then I came here as a director, and so it's a thrill because I get to see the other side of what goes on here. For many years, I was a recipient out in the field where our staff would give me the information I needed to know. They made sure I was safe and that I went home at the end of the day. And coming in here, now I get to see the other side of it, and I've seen how these folks interact with the general public, and they truly are the lifeline between the citizens of Bartholomew County and our public safety.
All right, that's awesome to know. Todd is here to discuss 911 operations and the new feature that enables texting to 911.
Well, I think one of the things, people don't always know when they should call 911 and the type of things that happen that's an emergency and they need to call us. You know, a good rule of thumb is if there's ever a threat to personal property, threat to somebody's safety, that is definitely a good time to call 911 and let us know. There may be things that aren't necessarily an emergency, but you need to call 911. Let's say you're traveling and you become stranded. Again, that would be a good time to call 911 and give us that information. Lots of times people don't know what they need to, information they need to give us, what they need to tell us. There's really two pieces of information that are critical. And if you call 911, probably the first question that you're going to be asked is, where is the emergency at? Because we cannot send the appropriate personnel to where they need to go unless we know what an address is or a general location. So the first thing is where's the emergency at? The second thing is, what type of emergency do we have? Because that is going to be dependent upon what personnel we send, if it's a fire scene, it's a law enforcement, medical scene. So those are the two pieces of information that we are going to attempt to get as soon as we receive a 911 call. Our staff then are probably going to let you know not to hang up, but at that point they're going to try and get the wheels rolling on whatever the specific incident is. So if it's a law enforcement situation, they're going to get law enforcement dispatched to that scene, and then they're probably going to come back to you, and then they're going to start asking you some more specific information. One of the best things that anyone who calls 911 can do is to be a really good eyewitness of what's going on. If it's a medical situation and you call in, if you have information knowing that the victim may have prior history of whatever the situation is, that type of information is very important for us to get, because what we can do is relay that information to the public safety personnel that are responding, and that helps them formulate a plan while they're en route to that scene. So, and depending upon what the situation is, our staff are probably going to stay on the phone with you during that situation until public safety arrives. When we receive a 911 call, many times that's the worst day of a person's life. And so we will stay on the phone with many of our callers to make sure that they stay calm, that we get the information that we need until help arrives on the scene. You know, we receive over 140,000 phone calls a year. Usually over 40,000 of those are 911 calls annually. And so we're very busy here, but we truly are the lifeline to our citizens to get them the help that they need.
That's awesome information. Now, if someone wanted to contact either you or 911 services, how would they do this?
Well, there are a couple of numbers that are important. One is, we talked about the 911, and to call that number if there's an emergency. However, if you need to contact us and it's not an emergency, we ask that you use our non-emergency line at 812-379-1689. and you may need to speak to a law enforcement officer, you have a question or whatever, that would be the number that we would ask you to call if it's a non-emergency. And then the other number is our administrative lines at 812-379-1551. And those ring in to my office and also our deputy director. And so those are really three important numbers here at the 911 center that we want everybody to know about.
Okay. Todd, you were telling me this week is a special week for 911 services?
Yeah, it's Telecommunications Week nationwide, and it's just a great opportunity to recognize dispatchers, emergency dispatchers across the nation. I tell you, they have a tough job to do, and many times people think of first responders as the police or EMS or fire, which they truly are first responders. But typically the 911 dispatcher is the first responder. They're the first one that's going to talk to somebody who needs assistance. And so this week is to celebrate them. And you know, we've had many public safety agencies and other people that have recognized our staff, and we're very appreciative for that.
All right. Thank you very much for your time and your interview, sir.
Thank you.